Hello once again, Snacks, welcome back. A collection of strange stories today. People either making strange decisions or just being strange in general. For the best or for the worst, you'll find out. Let's go. My girlfriend wants to bring a total stranger's children books on our flight back. I tell her it's a very bad idea and won't touch the book, but she calls me heartless and paranoid. Am I the a-hole? So we are flying to Scandinavia for vacation from Spain, and my girlfriend offered to help a stranger in a expat Facebook group to bring a children's book back to their niece who forgot it. I told her that I would never bring a stranger's items on an international flight and would not touch that book, and it has got to go in her hand baggage. She called me heartless and paranoid. Well, I managed to dig up tons of articles of drugs and other items smuggled in books, but she is now mad and says she would rather go to jail to believe in kindness than to share my paranoia and negativity. Even though these countries are not known for these things, I would never take the risk. I told her to ask her to post it. I told her if she wants to help, tell her to post the book and we can pay for the shipping. I offered to pay half. It would also arrive much faster than in 1 to 2 weeks when we are back. She told me she is not going to do that and it's a stupid idea. And now she is mad just before our vacation. Am I the a-hole? Considering a lot of nighttime shows in my upbringing consisted of so much border security drama, I'm shocked your partner here isn't acting more suspicious about this random request. I mean, so many people have their own stories of this sort of suspicious behavior. One person mentions a random woman tried to do this to them and appear when they were flying in China, of all places. She had all of this camera equipment and kept trying to pass off the equipment to us to get through security. They wanted to say something, but didn't seem like anyone around could speak English. And later on when they got through, it seemed she found a corner of the terminal that she thought didn't have a camera's attention and changed her clothing there. How bizarre. And also, in China, really? You honestly think you can hide from a camera there? Certainly does seem suspicious. People are saying that your girlfriend is so worked up about you simply posting it instead for the people. Because hey, maybe the person who wants to send this book isn't familiar with postage. They don't trust it. They've had a lot of experiences of mail going missing. Maybe they're just really good folks connected on this Facebook group, and so this is just their way of connecting with each other, being involved in each other's lives beyond just commenting on the same posts, you know? Regardless, as other comments say, it doesn't really make much sense that a stranger would entrust a package with you and then give out the private address of their niece. None of those actions make sense. Why not just post it? Ultimately, everyone believing that your girlfriend is being extremely gullible to the point that I'm wondering how she made it this far in life. And hey, fun fact that I just learned, they can bake cocaine and drugs into the pages, so looking through it won't work. Just don't do this. And I'd rather go to jail if that's the price to believe in kindness. Sounds like something a hippie would say after getting her daily dose of essential oils and healing crystals to cure her toothache, which developed because toothpaste is full of chemicals and its aura is evil. Your girlfriend is the type of person that dies first in a horror movie. So mean. Now, with all those warnings, it's the same day that we get an update. Hello, thank you everyone for your replies. I read them out loud to her. She has agreed to not accept the book. In the words of my girlfriend, the world sucks. Because you can't do kind acts for others because there are terrible people that take advantage of that. That is where her frustration stems from. We are all good now, she apologized, and laughed at some of the comments, such as, have I considered if she is a spy? Also glad some other commenters said they learned something, including me, and thank you for those that pointed out it was good intentions. Overall, I love that she is this thoughtful, and it comes from a good place, but then she also agrees that she can also be gullible. Also glad to see the normal dump her comments. Never change, Reddit. Today I learned you can lace pages with drugs. And a quote from the girlfriend who is likely to give every Reddit mod a wet dream. In her words, good she has me who hangs out on Reddit. And with that new learning lesson in mind, my hardest struggle in life was giving up eating books. Now I know why. Oh, I don't know what it is, but oh, this book smells amazing. Yeah, especially if you smell it through a little straw. Come on, smell this book, guys. Wow! Were children's books always this awesome? It smells so awesome. How come no one ever told me how awesome they are? I'm gonna run across town to the bookstore and smell more children's books. But first I'm gonna dance. Scratch and sniff. Of course. They weren't made as a fun interactive way for kids to enjoy books. It was all a cover-up for drugs. And it explains that 1 out of 20 kids who is clearly psychotic in the classroom. He's not normally like that. It's just that one of the books got mixed up with the actual cocaine books in the stash. Over to another two-parter where not is all as it seems. Am I the a-hole for sleeping with my sister's husband? I'm 29 female and find myself in a complicated and difficult situation that has strained my relationship with my sister, 31 female. I recently slept with her husband, and now she refuses to speak with me. However, I genuinely believe that I am not solely to blame for the fallout, and I need an impartial judgment on whether I am the a-hole in this scenario. Prior to the incident, I noticed some questionable behavior from my brother-in-law, 33 male, towards me. Now, feeling concerned about my sister's well-being, I decided to address the issue with her. However, she dismissed my concerns, leaving me unsure of how to proceed. So my sister works as a flight attendant and is gone more than she is at home. My brother-in-law recently lost his job and was feeling depressed. During one of her frequent absences from home, she asked me to keep her husband company. Well, she trusted me and didn't believe the warnings that I gave her before about this behavior towards me, but I saw this as an opportunity to support their marriage and help them rebuild their connection. Unfortunately, as we spent more time together, our bond deepened, and we eventually crossed a line that should never have been crossed. We had both been drinking, and he was complaining to me about the troubles in their marriage and how he hasn't been for a while. He was crying, and I decided to comfort him. One thing led to another, and we did the unthinkable. I woke up realizing the nature of what I did and immediately realized the nature of what had happened. We were so intoxicated that we stupidly ended up falling asleep. I awoke to my sister screaming and hitting the both of us, screaming, "How could you do this to me? We're sisters. I trusted you." She wouldn't even give me a chance to explain and kicked me out of the house. And now, my sister refuses to speak to me? As she has filed for divorce, our parents are siding with her, saying that I violated every family moral. However, I believe that there are multiple factors at play here, and I am not the only one responsible for the breakdown of their marriage. Now, while I acknowledge my mistake, I also question why my sister failed to address the issues in her relationship and why she left her husband in my care without setting clear boundaries. Dude, why did you shoot me?
Wow, don't get angry at me, man. You never established that boundary.
I feel that's pretty off. Are those missiles? Bro,
Never established that as a boundary.
I do feel a sense of guilt and remorse for my actions, but I also recognize that my sister and her husband had their fair share of problems. It's unfair to place all the blame on me when there were underlying issues that existed long before our involvement. That said, I understand my sister's anger and hurt. I am willing to accept responsibility for my actions and make amends, but I also believe that it is crucial for her to acknowledge her role in this situation. Rebuilding trust and repairing our relationship will require open and honest communication from both parties. Now, in sharing my story, I hope for an unbiased judgment and guidance on how to navigate this difficult situation. Am I the a-hole for sleeping with my sister's husband? Okay, so I lied. It's not more complicated than the title assumes, but the OP has a good point here. This situation isn't going to get fixed with just the OP saying sorry over and over again. The sister's, actually going to need to pull some weight too. That's kind of how these situations actually resolve. At some point, the person who is seeking forgiveness is absolutely valid to give up even trying to appease that person if they're not even going to actually budge from their stance of pain and betrayal. Unfortunately for UOP though,
you don't deserve it, you idiot.
Now what's interesting is the OP, I guess, thinking this is a good defense to point out that maybe her sister is unhinged and impossible to work with. She shares their screenshots of the conversation she's had with her after this all happening. So we're going to go through it all. Someone's transcribed it wonderfully. OP says, "Lindsay, I'm extremely sorry. I haven't been able to eat, sleep, or function since this all happened. Regardless of you believing it's been ongoing, it's only happened once. I take full responsibility for my part. I should have distanced from him when he was making advances before. I should have pressed it more. I shouldn't have given in. I was intoxicated. I wouldn't have done it sober. And I take full responsibility for it. I just feel that responsibility needs to be taken that it was already failing. So you should have left him a long time ago, or even believe me when I tried to tell you." Sister's response:
"Are you kidding me? You're always the victim, Kelly. Always. You can never take responsibility for your actions. I swear, you could hit someone with a car walking on a damn sidewalk and you'd still argue it was their fault too for not moving. I mean, you betrayed me. You're right. I stupidly didn't believe you because I was in denial about my marriage. But I never thought that you would do this to me, ever. I helped raise you. I was there for you whenever you needed me. I forgave you for the upbringing we had with you always being the favorite. But you cannot handle the fact that Mom and Dad are siding with me for once. I never want to see you again. You are no longer my sister.
Ouch, but valid. OP, it seems you've drastically tarnished your family dynamic. Maybe you could humble up and accept the fact that it was entirely your decision to sleep with him. Let's see how she does it. Sis, I am sorry. I never meant to hurt you. I'm not trying to play the victim at all. I take responsibility. But why am I getting the most heat here? He's just as at fault. All I am saying is that you should have left him or been actively trying to fix the relationship, or it wouldn't have gotten this far. But that still does not excuse my behavior. I am the worst. I just don't understand why I get the most heat.
Because you are my sister. Men come and go. I am not going back and forth. Have a good life being the whore that you are.
Now, there is one quick update OP made, either before or after this text exchange. But oh man, this, apology. Okay, guys, I get it. You guys have ripped me apart in the comments, and yeah, I admit, I messed up. After deeply reflecting on my actions and seeking advice from others, I have come to realize the extent of the hurt and damage I caused to my sister. I genuinely regret my behavior, and am now fully aware that I was in the wrong. There's no excuse for what I did. And I think I was trying to excuse my actions because the thought of it all was ways too painful. Okay, starting out strong. Let's see how the rest of all of this goes. So last night after reading comments, I mustered up the courage to reach out and apologize to my sister. Unfortunately, despite my sincere efforts, she has not only refused to speak to me, but has also blocked me from all forms of communication. I mean, the fact that my sister has taken such measures is deeply upsetting to me. I yearn for her forgiveness and genuinely want her back in my life. However, I understand that I cannot force her to reconcile or forgive me on my terms. I have sought advice from friends and family on how to navigate this situation, but it seems like the best course of action for now is to respect her boundaries and give her the space she clearly needs. So yada yada yada, telling they're reflecting on their actions, committing to personal growth, and all the real AI chatbot talking points for when you want to apologize as a politician. Further trying to reach out to mutual friends and family members, but all of them are trying to respect the boundaries of the sister here and not getting involved in the dispute. Also, ex-brother-in-law, how convenient. Also refusing to be in contact with OP. Apparently, he's been saying that she actually got him drunk and initiated the entire thing herself. So wow, look at that. You two would be the perfect couple, blaming other people for your own actions. Ultimately ending with the hope that one day the sister calms down and reopens the line of communication for them to grow, learn, reflect on actions. Ooh, I'm gonna start a podcast about chakras and personal growth while just trying to, shill out my own growth course like a tradwife. I'm just gonna highlight this comment because it's a great analogy. I think that's the right word here. Let's say your car is older and needs some work done. If I come up and steal your car, GTA style, and I total it, would you be at fault for the crash because the car was already failing? Or would it be me because I'm the one that took it and couldn't control the car and crashed? Do you see how all of that sounds just dumb? Like if it was failing, then your job was to help your sister get through this and guide her towards counseling or a divorce. Instead, you guided your way into his pants. I think it's more to the story, and the more to the story is you had feelings for the brother-in-law for a while, and this drunk behavior made you act on it. You give off golden child energy on which you've rarely been held accountable. Oh, and if my comment wasn't clear enough, yata! Now 2 days later, there was another update. Surprisingly, my sister unblocked me, expressing her desire for closure and personal healing. It seems that she has reached a point where she needs to address the past in order to move forward, but she has made it clear that she doesn't wish to continue our relationship. We had an open and honest discussion about the pain and hurt that had accumulated over time. It was an emotional and challenging conversation, but one that allowed us to express our feelings and seek some form of closure. During our conversation, my sister made it clear that she has made the difficult decision to no longer be in a relationship with me. She explained that she needs to focus on her own healing and well-being and believes that maintaining a relationship with me would hinder the process. It was a heartbreaking realization for me to accept, but I understand and respect her choice. In our conversation, I took the opportunity to sincerely apologize for any pain I have caused her. I acknowledged my past mistakes and expressed deep regret for my actions. While I had hoped for a different outcome, I understand that my sister's healing journey is her own to navigate, and it may not involve me. Moving forward, I will continue to reflect on the lessons learned from this experience. I have come to understand the impact of my actions and the importance of personal growth and self-reflection. It is crucial for me to learn from this and strive to become a better person, even if it means accepting that my sister wants no further relationship with me. While it is painful to accept the loss of a close bond, I will honor my sister's wishes and give her the space she needs to heal and move forward. I will continue to work on myself, seeking personal growth and understanding and ensuring that I do not repeat the mistakes of the past. Yada yada yada, finally accepting that the sister is the victim, not OP. She deserves this. Hooray, closure, but I'm skeptical that you managed to achieve this in just 2 days.
This reeks of you patting yourself on the back for learning a lesson that's common sense to everyone else. You could do all of us a favor by not posting your bullshit.
This taught me about empathy and forgiveness. Oh, it's too bad it didn't teach you to not frick your sister's husband. I listened to my brother and I shouldn't have. I met my ex-wife Kelly when we were in college. When she asked me for some notes one day, we had been sitting next to each other for a few weeks without word until then. We started dating and got serious pretty quickly, which upset my younger brother Robert. Robert was about 16 when I started dating Kelly, and you could tell that he had a bad crush. She was always nice and took it in stride. After Robert left home and got into college, I let him move in with us. Kelly and I had been together for about 3 years, living together for 2 then. We all had a good relationship. Soon Kelly would start complaining that things were being misplaced. One of her earrings would disappear, her panties, sometimes it was socks. She was under a ton of stress changing medications, so we both chalked it up to her ADHD giving her an issue until one day I caught my brother with a pair of her missing panties. We found everything he stole. We kick him out and he goes to live with my parents again and begs for forgiveness and decides to go to therapy. It takes about 5 years, but we all decide it was water under the bridge, Kelly included. Robert had a hard life growing up. He said it was all acting out. Now, late 2022, I received an anonymous email that Kelly was cheating on me. He knew dates she was out of town, names of coworkers, and everything. They gave me no photographs, but knew enough details that I was sure they were telling the truth. Kelly fought me on it, denied it, begged for marriage counseling, but cheating is a solid deal breaker for me. Robert came to stay with me as my emotional support while Kelly was there. Kelly had asked me to get him to leave multiple times, stating that he was watching her and making her feel uncomfortable, but all I said were things I'd rather not repeat about her not being trustworthy. The day after she left last April, she said to me that it was going to turn out to be my pervert brother, and that if it is, she hopes I feel every ounce of pain I just put her through. Well, my brother has apparently been racked with guilt and confessed last weekend. He told me in front of our parents. I couldn't say anything. I just walked out and went home. I turned my personal phone off and I've just been walking in a daze. I go to work, come home, I watch TV, and I go to bed. I can't tell you what I've eaten for the past week, what I've watched. My dad came by to talk to me tonight, and he wants me to talk to my brother. Tell him that it's going to be okay and we can work through it. I turned on my personal phone for the first time to see hundreds of texts from my brother. I just want to reach out to Kelly and beg for forgiveness and ask her if we can start over.
Really? That's your dad's approach to all this? Hey, son, your brother betrayed you and destroyed your entire happiness.
But you gotta make him feel better. He feels bad for what he should feel bad about, and that's somehow wrong. Now, unfortunately for OP, there's not many on his side in the comments. Very little sympathy. Not to kick you when you're down, but your soon-to-be ex-wife warned you, and it sounds like your parents support him still, even though he's blown up your relationship twice and terrorized your wife for years. You all made choices, and now you're gonna have to live with them. You should tell her she was right, so she can have validation, but don't expect understanding, forgiveness, or reconciliation. She's better off away from you and your toxic family, especially that psycho stalker brother of yours. I mean, yeah, along with the other suggestions of powdering your poor brother's butthole. It's interesting how the first time this issue arose of it possibly being the brother, the wife was right. The second time, well, no, it couldn't be. Surely, no, it couldn't be. He has a history of screwing around your relationship and making your wife look bad. It's a coincidence. Now, despite many in the comments assuring OP that there's no point pursuing your ex-wife after all this, it's a done dead deal. In the update, 3 days later, I contacted my ex-wife. I kept reading that everyone said leave Kelly alone, but I sent her an email to where we had been communicating about little things that popped up, and then I went to bed. I apologized, told her that I know I can't mend things, but that she was right, and that Robert was out of my life, and probably my parents too. I didn't expect an email back, but I received one and it was massive. It was filled with a lot of personal things that I don't want to repeat. She said she understood the desire to listen to that email, but that she wasn't even able to defend herself. That I just gave her time to get out and then immediately moved Robert into our home where she watched him intentionally keep us from communicating as she was forced to leave. She said she would have done anything. Let me talk to her coworkers, check her geo-tracking, but Robert kept a permanent buffer and I allowed it. belittling and mocking her along with him whenever she attempted to talk to me. She thanked me for the closure on this chapter of her life and she wished me the best, but she asked me not to contact her again, ever. After the year and 3 months she said she endured, she isn't the same woman I knew. She asked me to set the record straight with any former mutual acquaintances, but she honestly never wants to hear from any of them either, and to tell them so. She told me I poisoned that well when I accused her of what I did, and it was the most bitter and isolating experience she's ever dealt with, and that she genuinely feels nothing for anyone in her former life, including me. She also told me cutting out Robert is a great idea, but don't cut them off trying to get her back, or even in her good graces, because she is moving overseas on a fiancé visa to try things out with her new fiancé. She said they've only been dating 8 months, but she's never felt this way about anyone in her life and that she thinks he might be her soulmate. She told me to learn from my mistakes with her and to find someone to love more than I loved her. It crushed me to see the word soulmate. She used to tell me that all the time. She thought I was her soulmate. I called my dad yesterday morning after reading the email, and I told him that I am not going to comfort Robert. He ended my marriage through lies, made me a liar to all of my friends, and isolated and hurt one of the most loving, loyal people on the planet who tried so many times to help him. My relationship with Robert is over, and I told him that if he has a problem with that, my relationship with him is over too. My dad told me he understood truly how bad it was once I broke it down that way. So I'm going to put in a transfer request at work tomorrow. I live on the West Coast. Maybe I'll head to the East Coast. I'm going to get a change in scenery, a therapist, and figure myself out. Is it weird to say, good for you, buddy, this is great for you, despite what seems to be the lowest point in their life? I'm so miserable right now.
Good for you, guy.
Now, there's mixed responses to all this. One very good point that needs to be brought up.
Robert didn't end your marriage. You did.
Robert was not even part of the marriage. Who made the vow? Who promised each other for better or for worse? Everything that happened in your life was because of your choices. You should take accountability for the choices you made. At least you know what to do in your next relationship. Next time, do it right. That probably explains why he's just so infuriated about his brother here. Because deep down, he knows. Truly, all the brother did was send a clearly fake email. Like a random anonymous email that anyone who's a friend of the wife here could, explain that sort of stuff. At the very least, become a sleuth about it and, try and look at her phone when she's not looking, that sort of thing. Yeah, I get we're invading privacy, but, when you get an anonymous tip, it's understandable you want some verification, not nuke your entire relationship because of... it's stupid. And as supportive as some of these comments are, both towards the wife and OP here, honestly, if I was reading these, being in this situation myself, all this advice of suggestions of what he could have done in hindsight, that would just shatter me even further. Like, why didn't you reply to the email? Why didn't you ask for clarification on who they were, etc.? Oh, God, so many ways you could have fixed this. I think my husband's mistress thinks he is richer than he actually is. My best friend thinks I am a D-bag because I am keeping silent. Just a note, husband is in quotations because we are not married legally. This is a throwaway. Please let me vent here. He's 39, I'm 39. Mistress is 29, and our best friend is also 39. We have been together for 14 years, living together for 11. He came and told me that he was in love about 3 weeks ago. I was surprised at the lack of fricks I had to give at receiving such information. I did love him, but maybe my love has always been conditional and its survival depends on it being reciprocated because it literally vanished the second he confessed to me that he was in love with another woman. He didn't want a separation, but to maybe open the relationship or let his feelings for her subside. I said it was over. It was like I never had feelings for him ever. He was taken aback by my indifference, which I thought, the audacity. Did he want me to be hurt and suffer? I told him that he should be relieved that he didn't cause pain. Instead, he has been sulking since. Last Friday, I got home and Mistress was there, sitting in my kitchen, sipping my tea. I felt nauseous because, seriously? I told them that this wasn't civil at all and to never be in my home again or I would call the cops. I went to my room and I heard her yelling at him for not standing up for her. Then I heard her say something very curious.
Why haven't you kicked her out yet?
He was trying to tell her to lower her voice, whispering,
Later. We can discuss this later.
So she left and he came to me apologizing. He said, we didn't sleep together here if that's what you were scared of. She just dropped by because I was working from home today. I told him that he had until the end of March to move out and to find somewhere to be during the weekends. This morning, I changed all the locks. From now on, he isn't allowed in my place during my working hours, so if he starts later or finishes earlier, then he needs to wait for me to come home and let him in. Damn, the man's moved from the doghouse to the dog life. But his mistress's words stuck with me, so during the weekend, I have been stalking her social media. I think she thinks that he is rich, or at least that he owns my apartment. I think she also thinks that my parents' summer house and boat are his too. Unfortunately, the loser has taken her there, probably bragging about his wealth because her hashtags were all about the good life. How is it even a good choice to take your affair partner somewhere that is clearly, like, this is going to come to not just bite him on the butt, it's coming to tear his butthole apart? What does he think's going to happen?
What's that, Jonathan? You don't own any of this? Oh, you're lucky that I find your 5-inch 2-minute pound sessions so satisfying.
I was telling my best friend all of this, but she was more agitated than indignant on my behalf. She told me that he was a scum, not telling mistress the truth. I agreed. I know, right? But then she said I was no better, not explaining to her his situation either. I was dumbfounded, but she was serious. I told her that it wasn't my job to bring back a mistress to Earth. My best friend got very angry and demanded that I give her mistress's username so that she could warn her. No, I said. She called me a bigger dick than he is then. I seriously don't know what's going on with these people. Have they gone mad or have I? When did our moral compass go askew like this? Can someone tell me that I am not insane? So what do you think? Do you think she's being an absolute a-hole herself here, just as bad as the husband? I suppose it becomes a thing of lying through omission. She knows the truth, and she's purposely avoiding too easily. Just a little message. Hi, you remember me? Guess what? I actually own all this stuff. He's been lying to you. Don't get me wrong, I get being petty and hurt by people, but I don't think she's betrayed you. Your husband has. And if anything, destroying this relationship while at the same time saving someone else is just a win-win for you, because he's further miserable thanks to you, and you've helped a woman escape what could be a real big mistake. It's a rare case in life where you get to be both an a-hole and a great saint. But despite what I think, people have a lot to say that, nope, not wrong. Get rid of him and wash your hands. Your bestie sounds delusional. Others say that, yeah, this affair girl just demanded that your husband kick you out of your own home so that she can move in. Do you really think someone like that deserves the kindness of a heads up? Not to mention she has been drinking your ex's Kool-Aid for a while now and wouldn't believe anything you say anyway, so why waste your time? As for your friend, they are either a current or former mistress, a gold digger living in the land of sunshine, rainbows and unicorns, or were never really a friend to you in the first place. I don't know, gang. I feel like this is being unnecessarily aggressive. And let's just recall the circumstances behind the affair partner asking about this. For one, she's living in the understood reality that the ex-wife is just living there too. Has likely been assured that she's going to be moving out soon. And what's the first interaction this woman has with OP is being told to get out and getting the cops threatened onto her. I mean, understandable that she'd also react with less kindness. Look, I'm open to other opinions about this. A lot of the ones I'm reading here, it doesn't really seem to have any actual constructive feedback into why the friend is an a-hole here. It's just accusing her of being a mistress herself in her own lifetime, or maybe she got with a married man and then found out he was actually worth nothing, so she regretted that and is projecting her own life experience onto the affair girl here. But also, to no surprise of anyone, someone suggesting that maybe you tell her you'll give her the info after the loser husband moves out. That way, if the mistress dumps him, he will try not to leave otherwise. Opie's informed us, I don't think his moving out will go smoothly, unfortunately. He has already started talking about missing me and regretting his foolishness. I pretend that he is a wall. I don't know how smooth kicking him out will be. Here's some more information to consider, though, about the best friend. So my best friend is married to a guy who is 59, so 20 years older than her, and has been her provider since they started dating. Maybe that's why she felt protective of mistress? Was I insensitive? I remember making a comment about mistress. Surely she wouldn't care if he had money or not if they're so in love. Adding on to more comments that are criticizing the friend here. Well, I am having suspicions about how her and her husband's relationship started, to be honest. He was married once before, but from what we understood at the time, he was divorced way before she met him. Now, I am not sure. Or why would she be so empathetic to the mistress? And that's basically where it leaves off. Her deciding to try and find out more information about her best friend's history too. Notably that she knows that she married him because he made a good living so she could be a stay-at-home. But I know that after marrying him, they had financial issues because he didn't make as much as she thought and he refused to buy her stuff. That's basically where we leave it. Do we think the best friend is actually just as much of a gold digger as it's possible that this mistress is? Or is OP really just grasping at straws and taking someone who genuinely cares about people being deceived and lied to get into a marriage? You know, is it really wrong for you to give someone a heads up when they're being deceived? Let me know what you think down below. Anyway, friends, I might end it there today. Thank you as always for watching. Remember to drink your water or sip the tea or have the diarrhea looking water if you like that too. I know I do. It's good stuff. Anyway, you be good. Love your face. Bye-bye.